Best time to get worms is after a good rain.
Wait! What are you buying retail for? Become a member and go direct to the manufacturer, as low as $50 a month. Learn more below. Don't worry, you're not going to get the coronavirus. We're practicing social distance. This is the internet.
I'm going to pull this out. Olaf, can you come on in here? Below here, you're going to see bagels. You're going to see eggshells, tortillas. It's called wet garbage that you normally put down your garbage disposal or you haul to the dump. Worms like that stuff. Put your green material in there. Put in the paper that you normally haul to the dump. Layer it in, green paper, more green, more paper. We all like coffee, and most of us are drinking these Keurigs. We just throw them away, haul them to the dump. Once again, you're wasting your time, wasting the environment. Cut the lid open and pour them out into there. Worms they love coffee. And now you don't have to feel guilty about spending that 50 cents a cup, because you're going to get earthworms forever. All right. Another thing that earthworms like, and you're going to like too, is this is a bag of, pardon my language, cow poop. I was going to say something else, but it comes out the back end of the cow. Get some cow manure. It's quite cheap. We're going to add in some cow manure in here, because cow manure already has a lot of decomposed things as well as some soil in there. Now, I'm also going to take a handful of earthworm castings and put them in here. Why am I going to do that? Well, I want a super soil, so it's going to make that. But inside of this earthworm castings are actually earthworms.
Earthworms are adapted for life underground. Their streamlined shape allows them to burrow through soil. They have no skeletons or other rigid structures to interfere with their movement. The earthworm's body is divided into segments. Each segment has a number of setae, or very small bristles that earthworms use to help them grip the soil as they move. An earthworm moves by using two different sets of muscles. Circular muscles loop around each segment and longitudinal muscles run along the length of the body. When the circular muscles contract, the earthworm stretches, becoming longer and thinner. The earthworm uses its setae to anchor the front of its body in the soil. Now the longitudinal muscles contract and the earthworm becomes shorter and wider, or it bends from one side to the other, pulling the body forward. The earthworm withdraws the front setae and uses its rear setae to anchor itself at the back. The earthworm uses circular muscles to lengthen and push itself forward again. Earthworms have a head, though they have no eyes, nose or ears. The earthworm's skin provides some of the services we normally associate with our own sense organs. Light-sensitive cells are scattered in their outer skin, mainly at the ends of their bodies. They allow earthworms to detect light and changes in light intensity. Earthworms do not use a nose, mouth or lungs to breathe like we do. Instead, they use oxygen that is dissolved in the moisture on their skin and from the surrounding environment. Earthworms cannot hear, but they sense vibrations. Mature earthworms have a clitellum or a saddle. The size, shape, colour and position of the clitellum varies between species. The clitellum means the earthworm is an adult and is ready to mate and lay eggs. Earthworms reproduce by forming a small egg sac called a cocoon at the clitellum. The cocoon slides off the earthworm's body and is deposited in the soil.
And put them in here. Why am I going to do that? Well, I want a super soil, so it's going to make that. But inside of this earthworm castings are actually earthworms. You can't see them. But when it gets dry, an earthworm may be that long, but when it starts getting dry, that earthworm starts spinning around and it just contracts down to, you can barely see them. And they'll stay like that for a long, long time, for months. and then when it gets wet again, and it's just a few minutes, a few hours, it'll go right back to being a big old earthworm. So I put some of those in there. When I'm all done, I'm also going to add in liquid microbe. It's known by many different names. I'm going to use this brand here today, but it's mycorrhizae. Mycorrhizae. It's beneficial fungi and bacteria. Your soil should be alive with these things. Most soils don't have them because we killed them with lawn fertilizers and all those kinds of things, pesticides, herbicides. The flora within the ground is dead. So you need to revive that. This is going to do it for you. And you can read the instructions on the bottle. Too much ain't going to hurt nothing. You can also use it on the top of plants. When they start getting funguses and stuff like that on top, feel free to mix this up with some water and spray them. And think of these guys as the guys that wear the white hats. And those pests are like bad guys that are wearing black hats. These guys will fight them off for a week or 10 days. Your plant will look beautiful. After a while, the black guys will start to win because they have a lot more babies than the white guys do. Maybe because they're so busy fighting with these guys. I don't know. But I use it all the time. Have a great garden because of it. In an organic garden. Okay, folks. Olaf and I are back down here in our orchard down here, which will be on another video. I'm not going to cover anything in the orchard here today, but that's another story on itself. Today we're talking about how to start a worm farm. Now, the best time to get worms is after a good rain, because as most of you know, those worms come up when it gets really wet. We've had rain here over the last couple of days, so I don't think these worms are going to be too deep. In fact, I picked some yesterday. You can see these here. I got about 100 worms out of there, and we're going to do that here today. And the soil's soft, so work with the soil. Don't go out there when it's dry. You're not going to get any worms. You're going to get a sore leg. But go through. Turn over. A line. And then, fun part. Remember when you were kids, you played in the dough in the first grade? See here, this is I already got a worm here. Now, that's a baby worm. And in 1 month, that worm is going to be about 3 inches long, especially with this good food we gave him. So I'm going to throw the worm in there along with the soil. What we're doing, we're crushing this as we go through. Crumbling, it would be a better thing to say. And we're looking for those worms. Now, wear gloves for this. Soil has a lot of things like sand in it that can make your hands quite rough. I lost one there. No, I found him. Here's another one. Keep your eye open for him. If you lose one, don't worry about it. He'll be there next season with 100 brothers and sisters. Another one right here. Once again, you don't care if they're small or big. Worms are going to reproduce easily, at least once in 3 months. Maybe faster than that in the right conditions. There's a good one. Hold on. See that one? That worm's about 2 months old. Oh, another thing you might want to know about worms. You say, well, I don't want to cut them in half with the shovel when I'm digging them. Don't worry about it. They're a segmented worm. And if you cut that worm in half, you're going to end up with 2 worms. Both halves will grow a new worm. Pretty ingenious, huh? Here's another one. Right there. See that one coming out? It's almost like finding gold. But unlike gold, once you spin it, it's gone. Earthworms been here forever, and they're going to be here forever. Now try not to walk on your soil after you've dug it. Leave it fluffy. You notice I'm walking backwards as I do this. That allows that soil to dry up and remain fluffy, and then I can add other things to it, like paper scraps and stuff, and mix it in real easy. Nice one. Another nice one. Another nice one. Keep your eyes open, because even though you don't see it right away because you've disturbed them, they're going to come out. Another nice one. Another nice one. Now folks, you don't need to do this for hours on end. It's a great way to stay in shape, get that little exercise in. If you're a little older like I am, I'm going on 71. But I don't want to be doing this for 10 hours a day. But I don't mind doing 2 or 3 feet a day. In the course of a month, I get my whole garden turned over. People ask me, do I have a rototiller? I say, yeah, I got a rototiller. I said, where is it? It says, well, it's the Alabama rototiller. It's right here. That's the Alabama rototiller. Most people think they need something gas powered. Okay, we're going to shut it off there. You know how to dig. You don't need to look at me dig forever, but by the time you go through 10 feet in this garden, 10 square feet, I might have at least 100 worms. I guarantee you, maybe 200 worms. So we're going to go back up above now. Oh, one more thing before I go. It is important. We're creating soil, so let's add in some soil. Okay? Obviously the worms are doing good in it, or they wouldn't be alive. So let's take a little bit of that good stuff along here with us. All right, we're going to go back up now. Okay folks, we're back up at the container garden. What I have here is some soil that I had left over from last year. It consists of a number of different ingredients, but the main thing is, you can see it's nice, friable soil. It's got perlite in it to keep it nice and airy. This is what we had just a few minutes ago. On top here are the worms that we just caught. Okay? I'm going to drop them in there. And then on top of that, we're going to pour in the steer manure, the green material, all this wet compost that's left over. And this is the fun part again. You can use a shovel, or if you're like me, I don't have no problem using my hands, especially if I got gloves on. And I'm just going to mix it up. Any paper towels, don't throw them in the dump. It's paper, any paper, cardboard paper, office paper, old bagels, all this stuff will decompose very, very quickly. Save the environment and feed yourself at the same time. Old coffee filter. Once again, they love coffee. Now we're just going to mix this all up. And we're going to take, here's a bucket. Now, this is a wicking bucket I've used for several years. On the bottom, I went around about 1 inch from the bottom. I drilled a series of holes around the bucket. What that does, it allows this bucket to always maintain about 1 inch of water in the bottom. The earthworm farm that we're going to do will wick that water up as it needs it. You don't need to add water to the top very often, okay? Because it's always got a supply down there below. If you think it needs water, reach in and just check it with your hands. If it's moist, don't add any water. All right, so we're going to put the green material in here, and the paper, and the kitchen waste, and the earthworms. Now, earthworms, they like something else. They like heat. So, when you put them in a black bucket like this, that soil gets a little bit warmer than if you put them in a white bucket. So, if you're in a cold climate, the black bucket's going to be best. If you're down in Phoenix, Arizona, you might want to use a white bucket because it's much hotter down there. So, we're going to put all that back in there. And our worm farm is done. Here's the nice part about this. Put it somewhere and forget about it. You can check it in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Those worms are working for you day and night. They're working for you better than your kids are, I guarantee you. So I'm just going to set it here in the shade a little bit. Come over here, folks. This is a worm farm. Now, we're about the 15th of March here. So you're saying, man, that's really early to have tomatoes and peppers and everything else. Well, I plant in a sunny part of the house. This stucco wall attracts heat. This area is about 10-15 degrees warmer than if I went to the other side of the house. So I play that. This is an earthworm bin, but it also grows food. Just because it's decomposed, it doesn't mean you can't plant things in there. Let's see if I can find some earthworms in here. Here's some. See, we got earthworms in here. And you see how these plants, you can just look at them. They're loving it. Look here. I got small baby tomatoes right here already. 15th of March. Okay, folks, that's enough for one video. I hope you like it. We're going to be posting more. Please keep us in mind when you go to YouTube. And we will see you for some other helpful tips to becoming self-sufficient in food production and organic food production. Oh, one other thing I want to mention to you. The stuff, I worked in agriculture my entire life, commercial agriculture. The stuff you buy at the market, it looks pretty, but it don't taste nothing like the food I grow here organically, because I take it off the vine when it's ripe, and the flavor is immensely better on all the products. So you'll notice right away when you start growing your own products, you're going to say, wow, that's what a tomato is supposed to taste like. That's what a pepper is supposed to taste like. That's what a cucumber is supposed to taste like. Okay, folks, see you next time. And I want to give you a picture of Olaf here. He's going to be going back to Germany at some point. He's kind of stranded a little bit now because of the coronavirus.
Hello,
Olaf,
folks.
say hello.
Hello, folks. It was a pleasure for me to do this video for you.
Now this is going to be going to Germany too. You want to say anything to the German people?
Ja, schön, dass ich den Film habe drehen können für euch und auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen. Thank you.